Very good evening. I begin tonight by holding up the secrets of file number 58. If the classified contents of this file are to believe, then Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose didn't die in Formosa in 1945, as has been widely propagated for the last 6 decades. In fact, if anything, this document released today for the first time in 67 years, courtesy the Mamata Banerjee government, raises the unseemly spectre of a massive cover-up. The allegation is not without basis. Consider the facts. And the facts are ensconced on paper in black and white. It says, it is not known whether news of the living Bose is based upon positive evidence of his whereabouts, suspected to be in Red China or Soviet Russia, or upon what is described as the negative evidence of the failure of the best brains of the Anglo-American security establishment. This is a document that was prepared by the highest levels of intelligence that existed in that particular day and age, just before independence, brought to the attention of the British government and also the interim Indian government. Now think about it. If Netaji had indeed died in 1945, and if the state was convinced of this, then why would it be obsessively and intrusively snooping on his family? Here in my hands is the example of intrusive snooping carried out by the Nehru government. This is a letter that was written by Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose, brother, to his widow. In this particular letter, all sorts of personal details are being talked about, as families tend to discuss, photostated, carefully ferreted away in highly classified files and cabinets. What were they hoping to find out? Why did the snooping extend for more than 2 decades? If we discuss, photostated, carefully ferreted away in highly classified files and cabinets. What were they hoping to find out? Why did the snooping extend for more than 2 decades? If Netaji died in 1945, then why were combatants, for example, of the Indian National Army, his colleagues, men who fought for India, snooped upon as if they were common criminals, traitors, what have you? Quite clearly, the state knows something that we don't. The state continues to not reveal the absolute facts. If Netaji didn't die in 1945, then is it true that he died in a Soviet gulag, killed by Stalin on the instructions of some Indian collaborators who didn't want Netaji to return? As this channel predicted yesterday on this very show, Nation at 9, the declassification of the latest tranche of files, and we have more than 12,000 pages, has only thrown up more questions. We'll put these questions to the stakeholders, but only after this news report.
बहुत सारे कहता है कि इधर में है, उधर में नहीं मिला, उधर में नहीं मिला, जिंदा था 45 का बाद में भी ऐसा है इतना.
India's biggest mystery is now India's biggest cover-up. The snooping charge confirmed.
So there is no denying the fact that the government had actually snooped upon Subhas Chandra Bose, and here you see names of other freedom fighters which figure in the list.
The cover-up allegation proved beyond doubt. 70 years on, the wait is finally over. 64 Netaji files with 12,744 pages out in public domain. Yes, Netaji, his family and even his Azad Hind Fauj or the INA were traced, tracked and snooped upon, not till the mystery crash in 1945 but till 1971. And what it proves, that 1945 death theory was just an eyewash. And what it proves, that 1945 death theory was just an eyewash. 5 reasons which indicate Netaji was still alive. 5 proofs which totally debunk the crash theory. And the biggest proof of them is file number 58.
File number 58 is a secret file of the CID Howrah and is quoting the US and UK intelligence agents who claim that Netaji was very much alive and he's residing somewhere either in China or in Russia. The note also goes on to mention that Netaji is planning a comeback to India. The note incidentally refers to the secret information which was procured by the British Foreign Office from its embassy in Turkey.
मैंने 4-5 महीने भी देखा, सीपी भी देखा, हम लोग तो कंप्यूटर खोल के देखा वो हार्ड डिस्क से। और ये भी है कि हार्ड डिस्क भी देखा, कंप्यूटर में भी देखा। और ये बात है, ऐसे बहुत सारे लेटर भी है जिसमें थोड़ा हम लोगों ने देखा। इतना जल्दी में इतना पेपर तो देखने का मौका नहीं मिलते है, लेकिन इसमें भी देखा कि कभी बहुत सारे कहता है कि इधर में है, उधर में नहीं मिला, उधर में जिंदा था 45 का बाद में भी। ऐसा है इतना।
This kind of status can only be obtained by people like Dawood Ibrahim or high international level terrorists. Was Amiyanath Bose a terrorist, Netaji's nephew? We demand an inquiry, a high level inquiry from the Prime Minister's office to find out who were the traitors of independent India, who betrayed the nation, who kept Netaji's family under surveillance.
Even freedom fighters were not spared.
This is the letter that we have, another file that we are bringing for 1948, which goes to show that not only were the INA cadres being snooped upon, being looked at with great suspicion, they were also picked up and interrogated.
Cornered over snooping revelations, the Congress is putting up a brave face.
जब तक पूरा डिटेल पब्लिक डोमेन में नहीं आता है, हमारी जानकारी में नहीं आता है, हम नहीं समझते हैं कि ये सही है, उस पर स्पेकुलेशंस पे कोई कमेंट करना।
But the government is evasive.
बात में आज मैंने देखा नहीं, पश्चिम बंगाल में कर दिया है, अब केंद्र सरकार कब करेगी वो हमने देखा नहीं, उसको क्या है वो देख लेंगे।
But there are questions that still need some answers. If Netaji was still alive, who scuttled the truth to come out? And who all are responsible for this gross injustice to India's national hero? With Saurav Sanil in Kolkata, Bureau Report, NewsX.
Big question. Let's go straight to the stakeholders. Joining us this evening, Chandra Ghosh, founder member of Mission Netaji, investigating what really went on. Also with us, Chandra Bose, the grandnephew of Subhas Chandra Bose. Also with us is Abhijit Rai, grandnephew of Subhas Chandra Bose. So the Bose family represented here in duplicate. Also with us, MJ Akbar, MP and national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Jaiveer, Shergill, spokesperson of the Congress. We will be joined in a few moments by Major General G.D. Bakshi, editor of the Indian Military Review, who has also been pursuing the truth with regards to Netaji. Let me first begin by asking Chandra Bose some basic questions. Mr. Bose, do the Netaji files reveal that there was no conclusive proof to suggest that Netaji died in 1945 in Formosa, as we have been given to believe? Mr. Bose.
Yes, you're absolutely right. There is a CID, West Bengal government CID letter, CID Howrah, which we have traced in the declassified files
Here it is.
of the West Bengal government. There is a mention of an American and British intelligence report clearly stating that Subhas Chandra Bose did not perish in any air crash, and he is either in China or in the Soviet Union. Now, what amazes me, why successive governments at the center and even in West Bengal, what made them suppress facts on the liberator of India, Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose? Now, the other question, the other main issue in these 64 files, what we find is the snooping angle. Do you know, Sarat Chandra Bose, my grandfather, after India's independence in 1949, he died in 1950, up to 1945, he was kept, till his death, he was kept under surveillance. Sarat Chandra Bose was a leader in his own right. He was a Congress leader for 42 years, much more than Subhas Chandra Bose. He was a barrister at law. He was the leader of the Legislative Assembly. He was also about to be appointed the Home Minister in the interim government, but he got arrested prior to that. Now, such a man of this stature, Sarat Chandra Bose, how dare the Congress government spy on Sarat Chandra Bose? The other issue is, Amionath Bose, he was kept, my father, was kept under surveillance for over a couple of decades. And do you know the level of surveillance? 14 IB officers, 14 Intelligence Bureau officers tracked him round the clock, not only within the country, even when he went abroad.
Well,
he
sir,
went.
I can understand your indignation. Let me just change and go across straight to MJ Akbar. Now, MJ Akbar, we all know that you're an MP who represents the Bharatiya Janata Party, but you're also one of our most senior journalists who has perhaps lived through some of these controversies, twists and turns, have perhaps read some of the reports, commission reports that were put out on Netaji, Subhas Chandra Bose. You would also have perspective on this story. For a few moments, let's not look at it through the prism of politics. And I just want to ask you, Mr. Akbar, why would any government go through this rigorous, intrusive surveillance on the Bose family? Today it's been proven that that happened. Here it is, the evidence.
Rahul, it's absolutely clear that right from the very beginning of this controversy, which is the alleged date of Netaji's mysterious death in the air crash, there has been serious doubt about whether he actually died or not. And there is so much circumstantial evidence swirling around this issue that I think it was almost imperative for the powers that be at that time to protect themselves by hiding the truth. The reasons I am not privy at the moment, or I don't know what this present cache of files that are going to be released in Calcutta are going to say. We'll have to wait for Monday, I think, before we know more details. But already some details, as you yourself have said, are percolating through, and they don't tell a very pretty picture about what Congress did. Both are going to say. We'll have to wait for Monday, I think, before we know more details. But already some details, as you yourself have said, are percolating through, and they don't tell a very pretty picture about what Congress did, both in Bengal as well as in Delhi. I may, I want to choose my words about Netaji with some care, because he's a personal hero of mine. I strongly believe that if Netaji had been alive and in playing his due role in the pre-partition era, maybe we would not have had partition. It was as important as that, but that is by and by. The real, one of the questions I want to ask you, Rahul, is why you don't include a Marxist, a CPM member in your panel and ask them questions. Why for 35 years did the CPM not reveal the files? The CPM was not a Congress party. The CPM was always hostile to the Congress. The CPM always claimed to have proximity and admire Netaji. Why did the Marxists not reveal these files which today Mamata Banerjee has? It's a very relevant question. I don't know the answer, but somebody from the Marxist side should give this answer. And we, and you as definitely from media, should raise it.
Well, sir, the point is very well taken. The point is very well taken.
It's a very complex, sorry.
I'm sorry to have cut you off there, but we did try to rope in members of the left parties. We found them a little recalcitrant. We did contact 2 or 3 people. I have to say this, given the fact that you posed a pointed question. We will be following this up. Obviously, more revelations will be coming up. We've got 12,000 pages here, and I'm only holding a few of them because, as you can appreciate, sir, it's taken us a long time to go through all of these, and there will be a lot more buried in these files.
It is going to take a long while.
Yes, it's going to take a while, and these questions will emerge.
Absolutely. I mean, there will be a lot of dynamite. There will be a lot of dynamite out there.
Well, on the evidence of the first day,
there will be, because it is absolutely inexplicable why the Subhas, why the Bose family should have been put under such severe,
And I am holding, sir, as an example of this.
When they say there's no smoke without fire,
absolutely,
believe me, there might even be a conflagration.
This is an example of intrusive surveillance. In my hand is a letter, very well typed out, written by Chandra Bose to Frau Emily Schenkel. Now we all know that Emily Schenkel was the wife, the widow really, of Netaji. And these are private mails, written to each other. Absolutely. And they sort of are innocuous, harmless, talking about the daughter, how she was growing up, missing her father, missing the memory of her, birthplace, etc. So, these are very private communications. And dignity was stripped the day they were being read by overzealous intelligence officials. Basic freedoms were stripped away, Mr. Akbar. I find it heartrending when I read some of these letters. The personal anecdotes, etc., were all out there. And they were being, well, in some cases, obviously voraciously documented. God alone knows why. And Jaiveer, Shergill, perhaps you can tell us. You're the Congress. You represent the Congress. This happened much before your time. I appreciate that. But the fact of the matter is, it's quite clear that the Nehru government knew that the version that they were putting out was founded on very specious evidence, because the CID was telling them that we can't believe that Netaji is dead. So why feed this nation a huge, big lie?
Rahul, in the defense of the Congress and my points on this entire issue, I just want to make 3-4 points, and I know you always do, but just grant me that uninterrupted time of under a minute. Firstly, I've been on this debate with other BJP spokespersons. This entire Gordian knot can be solved by Mr. Rajnath Singh's promise made in Cuttack on the 117th birth anniversary by saying, yes, we will declassify the file. Yet, I remember being on your show on 20th April 2015. I think Mr. Chandra Bose was also there, when Mr. Modi had that photo opportunity with the family. And then also I said, please declassify. Then there was a reply in the parliament by Haribhai Paritbhai Chaudhary, the MOS home. He said there is no such thing that we want to declassify. So it's very easy for the BJP today to take shelter or hide behind the attack on Pandit Nehru and rather not answer why are they not declassifying today. So I think Mr. Akbar will do justice if he can answer to that question to start with. Number two, today let me put very candidly, we support the demand to declassify the files for the sole reason to spare our great leaders the horrors of sensationalism. Please go ahead and declassify the file. Third, we all knew Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee shared amount a certain of bonhomie with the members of the Bose family, if subject to factual correction, when one of the members was even ambassador to Burma during Mr. Vajpayee's regime. So what went on there? Did the Bose family pressurize Mr. Vajpayee, who sent him to Burma, that what kind of documents do they have? Lastly, I think there was a commission also set up which was weighing RTI Act versus the Official Secrets Act to show whether public interest today outweighs our foreign relationship with other countries. So what happened to that commission? That will give a good insight. Tomorrow, today the documents I saw on your channel in the afternoon reveal what? There is a stark difference between surveillance and snooping. Snooping is never recorded on a public file like surveillance. If there is a conspiracy that Netaji knew, Pandit Nehru knew where is Netaji, then why would he officially on file put a surveillance? Yes, there was a surveillance to maybe find out if he gets in touch with the family, they will get to know. Be that as it may, I am not taking a X versus Y line. We'll get to know when the government tries to declassify the other 87 files. But if the sentiment today is it should be declassified, please Bharatiya Janata Party explain.
But Mr.
Shergill, the horror of sensationalism and declassify.
Mr. Shergill, while you've asked a pointed question, I just want to remind you that the NDA's plea has been along the lines of the UPA's reasoning. And that is that foreign ties with a number of friendly countries will be jeopardized if the truth comes out.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I just wanted to remind you that
Rahul,
the
that
UPA...
is, I stand by that.
Yeah.
No, no, Rahul.
So one
please,
second.
Just give me 30 seconds.
So
I stand by that. I stand by that even today. But
So unfortunately,
unlike
by
BJP,
invoking
did
that,
we
you're
make
sort
it
of
a
hoist on your
political
own
issue?
petard.
no, no,
You're
no.
hoist on your own petard.
Rahul, no, I
because-
am still by that.
Because by suggesting that,
I still
by
stand with
setting
that.
a pretext along those lines, you have given an alibi, unwittingly or wittingly, to the NDA also not to disclose. But I will still ask Mr. MJ Akbar, because the
Rahul,
process is
did
not
we
over.
make it a political issue?
Mr. Akbar, no, let me ask him. Let me raise the point that you have made with Mr. MJ Akbar. Give me 30 seconds. Mr. Akbar, the question you've heard from the Congress, why not declassify? The Prime Minister's office has at least 130 files. He promised to make a clean breast of things when he was running for office. Perhaps the time is now.
Well, to first answer the question, it's very interesting, Rahul, when you addressed the question to me, you made a very specific point that please let's not get partisan. I know you are the BJP spokesman and MP. Please do not get. I did not mention the Congress even once. The Congress spokesman, having had no answers, discussed only the BJP. He discussed nothing about the files and answered none of your questions. And there are very good reasons why, because the Congress has no justification for what it did for decades, for decades, for decades. Now, when the Vajpayee government came, there was actually a very great demand from the forward bloc members. The forward bloc are Netaji's forwarders, Bengal party, right? And a commission was set up, and the commission began work. The NDA government's life ended before the commission got finished. And it was the UPA, under the UPA, the commission prepared a very, shall you say, non sequitur kind of a report, which said nothing in particular. The present Prime Minister has been, I think, among all the heads of government in our country the last 7 decades, has been the most proactive in his attempt to look into this matter, look into it with care. It is a complex problem, and he has asked his former cabinet secretary to look into the matter, to go through the files, to come up with a reasoned and reasonable suggestion as what next steps to take. The Prime Minister has met the Bose family, I think thrice, and certainly the Prime Minister will take a decision in the national interest when the moment comes.
Well, at least
this much I think, the Prime Minister has met the Bose family, I think thrice, and certainly the Prime Minister will take a decision in the national interest when the moment comes.
Well, at least
this much I can tell you, that the BJP, may I now please, I did not interrupt. I just want to make one point. The BJP was not in power in 1947. The BJP was not in power in 1952. The BJP was not in power in 57. The BJP was not in power through all the many decades during which Netaji was believed to be alive by by some of his supporters, by many of his supporters, and large parts of the nation. It was the Congress which was indulging in this massive cover-up, and the reasons are political. The reasons are because the Congress was afraid of something.
Today?
We do not know what the Congress was afraid of, but we shall know, I think, what the Congress was afraid of very soon.
okay.
Whenever we learn.
Absolutely. I want to go back to the most basic question. Why snoop on a patriot? Why pullulate his image? Why lower his dignity? And why violate the basic rights of his kin, including his widow? Mr. Shergill, you have an opportunity tonight to answer those questions, or you could dodge, duck, and weave. I leave you the option, sir.
Rahul, I'm going to answer with the limited knowledge I have and the documents I...
That's not good enough, sir.
Today or through the media report. No, let me tell you. Where can anybody say that it was snooping and not surveillance? I'm going back to the question. Is snooping ever done by recording publicly on a government file? No. IB reports to 7 home ministers differently during this entire period.
It is.
Starting from Gulzari Lal
Mr.
Nanda
Shergill,
to
come on,
Yashwant Rai
come on,
Chavan,
Mr.
Kailash
Shergill.
Nath Karju,
Come
3
on,
Prime Ministers.
Mr. Shergill.
Is the charge to Lal Bahadur Shastri also?
I think if
Is
anything,
this a charge
in this
to the
day and
Prime
age,
Minister during that
in the
time?
post, no,
Gulzari
one
Lal
second.
Nanda,
In this day
Indira
and age,
Gandhi,
in the post
are we
WikiLeaks,
alleging
no, one
conspiracy
second,
to
sir.
everybody?
In the post WikiLeaks era, I don't think that you can stand on that defense, Mr. Shergill. You're struggling, and I'm surprised that a spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata of the Congress party is telling me that, you see, I don't have the facts. Surely the spokesperson speaks
I have the full
and
facts.
represents the
I have the full
institutional.
facts. If you allow me, I'll give you 30 seconds. If Pandit Nehru knew where Netaji is, why would he write to the Japan ambassador asking about Amiya Bose? If Netaji knew, then why would he put up surveillance?
Well, if it was such an innocent, exercise, what stopped you, sir? What stopped you from putting the files out?
Rahul, let me
no,
say
Mr. Shergill, if you continue, no, one second,
hiding
Mr.
the files
Shergill,
is the charge.
Mr.
Let me
Shergill,
complete, Rahul.
Mr.
please.
Shergill, if you
Just
continue,
give me 5 seconds, I will.
no, if you continue to suggest that the reason that the UPA was recalcitrant, that previous Congress governments down to Indira Gandhi and Nehru were recalcitrant of making all of this public, was because it's going to hurt the interests, the bilateral ties, then, sir, many people will turn around and say that somebody called upon, because the only other theory that arises from there is that he died in a Soviet gulag on the instructions of someone. And I just want to bring in one individual who has devoted a significant chunk of his life trying to get to the bottom of this. And I want to draw upon you, Mr. Chandrachud Ghosh.
Yeah, I would like to, Rahul, I would like to make 2 large points, 2 broad points here. The first point is that we see a dichotomy between the public stance taken by the government from Jawaharlal Nehru till Indira Gandhi and probably later, that they were telling one thing to the people of the country and clandestinely doing something completely different. Wherever they got any sniff about anything related to Netaji, they would deploy a posse of intelligence people, go find out what is happening, come back.
So a posse of intelligence people were deployed to quash it, to examine it, and then to record it.
Absolutely. Okay. So why was that going on? I mean, so
you tell us. Why do you think? Or let me bring in the postman.
The clear answer to that is, I mean, whatever we may pretend to be tonight, but the clear answer to that is nobody believed that Netaji died in 1945 August.
No one believed. Abhijit Ray, do you believe that the time has come for the Congress party to atone for its sin? It at least appears to be on the face of these files, its sin of intruding on the private lives of the kin of Netaji, and for treating not just Netaji but also the combatants in the IMA like little traitors.
Well, Rahul, today morning I was fortunate enough to be present at the DC North office. Now, somebody from the media asked me about my reactions about the declassification of the files which West Bengal government has made, the 64 files. My prompt answer was that in my mind,
yes,
I have a few questions which is cropped up in my mind. Number one question which came to my mind is that during the period of 1948 to 1968, we had a Congress government of the center and a Congress government in the state of West Bengal. Now, as Chandra has said, 14 IB officers were appointed to snoop upon the members of the Bose family. I think this is not only unethical, but it is a violation of the human rights. In an independent country, how dare the central and the state government put on surveillance on the members of the Bose family who are the free citizens of a free country, who does not have any criminal records. Now, my question is also
No, it's a very valid
to
question.
the Congress party and my honorable Congress spokesman present here, that 60 years you were very quiet, absolutely quiet when you were in power. Now you have come to the opposition. Now you are shouting at the top of your voice regarding declassification of the documents.
Okay. Okay, let me ask.
Same thing
Let
I
me
can
ask
ask.
Mr. Shergill. Let me ask Mr. Shergill. One second. We'll take this one question at a time. Mr. Shergill, here you have a situation where a Bose family member is appalled that you've been spying on them and others. Now I'm asking you, what was the compulsion? What was the provocation that a patriot needed to be scrutinized in this unedifying manner? I'm asking you, Mr. Shergill, what was the compulsion?
I think, Rahul, I take a very strong objection to this verdict which is being passed on your channel, and with due respect to the Bose family. Till we have the complete files, including the 130 odd files with the center, which connects the
You
dots.
know what is in the files? You are in government.
Please, no,
You are in government.
I don't know. Till you come up with
Well,
that,
I'm sorry.
and I support that.
I'm sorry.
Please stop
I'm sorry.
pages of
You
the
had,
document
one second.
Pandit Nehru
Former,
or
no,
anybody
you have
of
a
the
former
Congress
Prime
party.
Minister
I
in
take
Dr.
objection to
Manmohan
that. You have
Singh.
your opinion,
You
you can
have,
have
no,
your
one
Mr.
second.
Shergill, why
You have
after 60
PMO
years of
ministers.
quietness,
Second.
now you are shouting for declassification?
No,
We
Mr.
want an answer
Shergill.
from you.
I will tell you,
and
sir,
from
why.
the party.
I will tell you why. If you allow me 30 seconds, I'll tell you why we are asking for declassification.
You
today.
have been quiet for 60 years.
Why? Because Congress party...
And why were you
did not
quiet
use
for
it
60
put
years? Tell
opportunity
me.
Like the present government. Because Congress party did not make Netaji a political handle like the present government. We maintained the stand for 60 years.
Oh, please.
We did it. Today,
Yes.
only... to
You
spare
made him,
them the
you
whole
turned him
constitution.
into, you turned him
I am
into a
asking that.
You tried
suspect.
to play a
that
trump
stand
card.
was-
No, did I?
that they
People
are
will
spy-
say-
On one side you are praising Netaji
Sonia Gandhi or any
and calling him a
Congress
patriot.
him into
And on the
a
other hand
any
side you are
state
snooping on his family
and
members.
exhibit nationalism and jingoism and said we will help
No,
the
Mr.
family and do
Shergill.
nothing about it.
Mr. Shergill.
Can you say that about
Mr.
Rahul?
Mr.
Be fair
Shergill.
to that extent.
No, Mr. Shergill.
Let me answer.
Unfortunately,
They-
you turned them into a suspect.
Mr. Shergill, tell me one thing. Mr. Shergill, tell me one
Yes.
thing. Tell me just
Yes,
one
yes.
thing. There was a letter from Amirnath Bose to ACN Nambiar. Now that has been passed on to MI6 and they have, the IB has asked for the comments. Now why a letter is being snooped, a personal letter from Amirnath Bose to ACN Nambiar is being opened by the IB and it is being passed over to MI6, the British intelligence, to have their comments. Why it has been done? You tell me, you answer me. Your party should answer.
Now can I answer you, sir, if you're finished? Firstly,
Being passed over to MI6, the British intelligence, to have their comments. Why it has been done? You tell me, you answer me. Your party should answer.
now can I answer you, sir, if you're finished? Firstly, I am not holding a brief today what was done then.
Yes.
Please tell the government to declassify everything.
No, sir,
And
you
when
can't
the
come
right
out
and
with that
legal
answer
defend
tonight. I'm
everything,
sorry.
Whatever is there.
No.
I'm sorry,
It
sir.
is that
That's a
answer
convenient,
now.
that's
Where
a
is
very
the fact that
convenient
one letter
side door.
Shergill,
is recording
Shut up,
on
Mr.
public
Shergill,
file
this-
snooping? No.
This
When the first
particular
three
file
papers
was
of snooping came out, they said
declassified
this is
in
selectively.
2012.
Now 64
Yes.
files have come out completely. 64 files have come out. Now you're saying we want
Yeah.
the remaining 150 files.
See,
Now after the 150
selective
files, what
papers
will you
which
ask
came
for?
out
I mean,
contained
these,
the
the
letter
content of
between
these
ACN
letters, the
Nambiar and
content of these
Amirnath
documents
Bose.
are not going to change.
Declassify. Let's not
And that
jump
was
the
said
bridge.
to MI6.
Let the government
Okay, one second,
declassify
one second.
the
Comment
rules
on these
and
64
the
files
political
first.
rules,
Let's-
and then we will come on this show and
So why don't
answer
you
it.
comment first on the
Shergill,
64 files? It's 12,000
no, one
pages.
second. Let's dig a little deeper, and I want to bring in Mr. Chandra Bose. Mr. Chandra Bose,
I am
do you
taking
believe?
you, Mr. Shergill, I am taking you
Rahul,
back to
what is
2012.
surprising me is
I
that
am
why aren't
taking
you
you back
asking
to
the BJP
2012.
government,
When
which they
the
promised
two files were
electoral promise, why
declassified.
aren't they not holding true to their word?
They've already responded to you, sir.
Why are we diverting from the issue?
No, we are not. We're actually
Why-
pursuing the
Why-
issue. You're
Why-
diverting the
Tell
issue.
me,
One second.
Why
One
were
second.
you quiet for 60 years?
Okay, one second. Gentlemen, one second.
You
Let
first
me-
Why
answer
we were
that.
quiet. We maintained one
You first
stand.
answer
We
that.
stand
Why
by
were you quiet
that
for 60
stand
years?
to maintain the dignity of our leaders.
No, I don't think you
Yes,
maintain
you were
dignity.
quiet.
Maintain
You are
dignity.
quiet.
To that.
You-
That's
Your
awesome.
government
I
was
mean,
sitting on the file.
You spy on a national hero and you call that maintaining the dignity of a leader? I mean, is that, am I going wrong somewhere?
Mr. Shergill, respond to Mr. Ghosh.
Yes, you are. Yes,
Where?
you are.
So spying is the standard of maintaining dignity of a national leader?
Is surveillance equal to spying?
And keeping information
Why would you about the whereabouts of his old colleague equal to spying?
Okay, sir. Let's, we can continue.
Is writing to the Japan ambassador equal to spying?
No, 1 second. We can
Mr.
continue.
Shergill, you tell us about the intelligence documents. Forget about the Japan ambassador.
Mr. Shergill, we can continue to hair split on this show. We can continue to draw distinctions between snooping and surveillance. I don't know, sir, in which dictionary there is a huge big gulf between these two terms. But if there is one, I stand corrected. Nonetheless, I just want to bring in Mr. Chandra Bose. He's been listening on patiently. I want to ask you, Mr. Bose, do you believe that Pandit Nehru had some inkling that the plane crash story was unconfirmed? And did you think that he knew that there was this surveillance that had been ordered?
Well, I don't find any other reason for the government of India to waste so much funds. India was a very poor country immediately after independence. From 1948, the surveillance started on my father, Omionath Bose, and other members of the family. And what we find, even INA officers, researchers, and Subhas Bose and Sharad Bose's followers were also snooped upon. Just imagine, the entire government machinery was set on surveillance on Amio Bose, Shishir Bose, Aurobindo Bose, and Netaji followers. The wealth, the kind of exchequer, the money from the exchequer was wasted. For what? Obviously, Nehru was paranoid. He was under a fear psychosis that Subhas Chandra Bose would appear one day. And that is the reason he tracked the people who were the closest to him, people like Omionath Bose. So this is the issue today. What nonsense went on with the Nehru government, that they wasted the government funds to snoop on Netaji's family members.
Okay, well,
I think...
No, but the Congress says, on this particular show and others, and all through the day, that the Bose family is jumping the gun and the BJP is being dilatory and playing politics. Respond to that, sir. Mr. Bose.
So what are these documents? Are these fictitious documents which have been released by the West Bengal government? We would like to question our friends in the Congress party that it is a very big party. Congress has a legacy. Why doesn't the Congress own up if certain leaders of the Congress party have been traitors, have been snooping on members of the Bose family and others? Congress party should own up. They should try and come clean. The party is bigger than individuals. So these traitors who have betrayed the nation must be exposed by the Congress party itself. Why should the opposition expose them? The Congress party should come forward and expose them.
Okay, Mr. Shergill, that's a direct question to you. Direct question. That the onus lies upon you.
Mr. Bose. Of course it does 100%, and when the time will come, we will give that justification. But I was with Mr. Bose on an earlier show on NDTV, and then also I asked him, why such a soft stand towards BJP? He has a grievance with Congress, that is justified in his own right. But why such a soft stand towards BJP? The left front for 34 years, the Janata, JDU, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Why this anger is not deviated? They are today in power. Let the truth prevail. Let be doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani, and I will come on justify on this show. But why the hesitation to ask even the government of the day a question?
Okay,
you're absolutely right. I mean, there is no hesitation.
Why?
No, 1 second. Let me ask that question. Let me ask Mr. Chandra Bose to respond. Do you believe that the Modi government, Mr. Bose, should follow suit? In fact, has no option but to follow suit, even though perhaps that is a question that we should be asking tomorrow or day after, because we are more concerned really tonight with affixing some amount of accountability. Nonetheless, please respond to Mr. Shergill. Mr. Bose.
Yes, the Modi government has no option because it is a people's demand. It doesn't matter what the Bose family says. It is a people's demand and the people have elected the Modi government. So Modi government does not have the option. Congress got away with it because it was not a mass movement. It was few people writing to the Prime Minister, few people filing a PIL at the High Courts. But it was very isolated. The movement was isolated. And also, over the years, it didn't have the impact. But somehow, now there is a mass movement. The amount of SMS I'm getting world over from the United States, from Germany, from Japan. People are all wishing us that yes, the momentum is set and the time is right to disclose the truth of Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose's.
Let me also bring in Mr. Ray on this question. Mr. Abhijit Ray, another grandnephew of Subhas Chandra Bose. Before I go back once again to the question of affixing accountability, Mr. Ray, we've just heard Chandra Bose obviously calling upon the NDA to fulfill obligations because this has become a mass movement. But do you believe we should be leaping to that stage, or should we actually first seek answers as to why your family and Netaji were treated with grave suspicion, sir? What comes first?
Well, that is, of course, no, the declassification, of course, comes first, to my views, because we are in a mass movement now, and we want a total and unedited declassification of all the files related to Netaji. Not only in West Bengal government, just the first step we have taken. Now, our main goal is to reach Delhi and to ask the present central government to declassify all the files. And then we should move towards the other countries. There are 6 countries which have got files regarding Netaji and INA. But first we'll have to clear ourselves. Our first demand is declassification. And as far as Mr. Shergill was saying, you see, let me tell you, not even 3 years, it's too less a time than the 60 years of your reign. So our demand continues. We will more forcibly demand now to the central government to declassify files. But at the same time, our question remains to you also, that why were you quiet for 60 years and why during your reign from 1948 to 1968 the surveillance or snooping, whatever you say, as a common man I don't find any difference between the two, went on on the Bose family members, and also why you had been also asking the MI6, the British Intelligence Department, to make their comments regarding the letters which you have been snooping.
Mr. Shergill, you need to answer, and then I want to bring in Mr. Akbar on this. Yes.
Now,
Mr. Shergill, direct question.
Rahul.
You can't escape your responsibility.
Firstly,
both family members.
Which you have been
Mr. Shergill, you need to answer, and then I want to bring in Mr. Akbar on this. Yes.
Now,
Mr. Shergill, direct question.
Rahul.
You can't escape your responsibility.
Firstly,
both family members have said that they expect the NDA. They haven't pulled their punches. They said we expect the NDA to fulfill their obligation. I'm sure that will happen. But I'm asking you, Mr. Shergill, tonight, to be accountable to this family.
Rahul, 100% accountability, but as a gentleman very rightly
No, how will that be?
First declassification and then accountability.
How will that be, sir?
Yes.
What stopped you?
Let us see what are the entire
You see, tonight the Congress has to answer. Was it part of a cover-up? Was it part of a cover-up? Both things go together. Mr. Ray says both things go together. They go together. So I'm asking you. I'm asking you, Mr. Shergill. What stopped the Congress from making all of this public over 3 decades when you were in power, both at the state level and at the center? And if you can't answer that question, I'll hand back to Mr. Akbar. Perhaps he will jog your memory back in time.
I can. Okay, Rahul. Now, firstly, it is very incorrect for anybody to say Congress was quiet for 60 years. If taking a stand, not releasing the documents is understood to be equivalent to be quiet, then somebody is highly mistaken. We had a consistent stand. It will affect situation in Bengal, our affairs with foreign countries. We stick to that stand. Today, if the government wants to take a different decision, if outweighing public interest, best of luck to them. They are fully entitled
Public
to do
interest.
that. But don't play politics with the family. That's it.
Interesting.
And I will answer you once the entire picture comes out.
Okay, sir. So you will dodge and duck, but you will not atone. Okay, fair enough. That's your choice. Mr. Akbar.
That means, Mr. Shergill, you still do not want declassification.
Well, yes, well, sir, he's
I want, sir. I said in the start of the show.
He's dressed it up with a warning. So obviously,
you are sticking to your own stand.
you
are sticking to your own stand, and you say you want declassification.
I am pointing the gun.
You are playing dual nature. We see.
Please hang whoever was responsible. Please hold anybody accountable. Please declassify.
Interesting. Okay, let me just bring in Mr. Akbar. Let me bring in Mr. Akbar.
You are saying that you had not declassified because you stand that it will affect the bilateral.
Yeah, so they've already put a precondition. Nonetheless, one second, a precondition for the NDA, but that's not the pursuit tonight. The pursuit tonight is to understand why surveillance was carried out relentlessly.
What do you want to tell us?
Yes, well, Mr. Ray, unfortunately, the Congress is in no mood tonight to answer this question. They want to go to the other question. They want to quickly put the cart before the horse, but I want to bring this back, because I'm not going to be satisfied tonight. MJ Akbar, I just want to ask you, sir. I want to ask you, why do you believe that there is something which is so grave that made the Congress reassess this entire question about accountability and obviously assess the implications of the Official Secrets Act and withhold this information from the public? You have great experience. Why do you think?
Well, the answer is very obvious, Rahul. The answer is that there was a massive cover-up. The Congress and the family, I think, more than the Congress, the family had something very grave to hide. I think we are slowly edging towards knowing what they exactly had to hide, but until we know what it is, it's not correct for me to make allegations, but this much is clear that they had something grave to hide. I was very surprised, in fact startled, to hear the Congress spokesman say that yes, we need full disclosure. I didn't hear them asking for full disclosure even at the beginning of the Modi government, which is about 15 months ago. You know, I'm surprised, on another note, you know, do you recall that on the question of snooping and surveillance, the Congress created a nationwide stir when the Delhi police went and asked, I think, for Rahul Gandhi's foot size or something of that sort, which was part of it, saying we cannot have surveillance and snooping. The Congress cannot tolerate surveillance and snooping about a common question being asked, which is asked of every MP. But they were very, very happy to conduct all most insidious and invidious kind of snooping and surveillance when it came to a national hero like Subhas Bose. And indeed, I was very happy to hear Sharad Bose's name, because Sharad Bose and that whole family has a whole record of patriotism which is matched by very few families. And that really will tell you the difference about what the Congress party has become in its pursuit of dynastic protection.
Okay. Mr. Shergill, you have the floor. You have the floor, sir. Please respond. Double standards have been called out tonight.
I think Mr. Akbar would recollect that since he has brought up the issue of Mr. Rahul Gandhi, that the concerned police officer who came to his house was not authorized, did not get authorization, the local police station was not authorized. Juxtapose it with the situation where the IB official or whatever documents have serviced is a duly recorded fact on a public file. So here lies the difference. It might sound hypo-legal.
It doesn't make it less insidious or invidious.
But what it is, yes, it does. It does not. Lastly, still, Mr.
So will you apologize? So I'm asking you, will you apologize to the Bose family tonight?
Journalist.
So will you apologize to the Bose family tonight?
Why should I?
For intruding into their private space, for ordering, I don't know what you want to call it.
Different phraseology for maintaining the dignity of the...
Rahul, being a lawyer, I never pass a verdict.
being a lawyer, I never pass a verdict till the entire trial is over.
Sir,
so let's not jump the gun.
when the first tranche was made available,
give assurance
one
to the
second, when the
family,
first tranche was
Prime
made
Minister had
available,
a
you called
perfect photo opportunity.
you called it selective
Let us
leaks.
give assurance to the family.
One second.
A date, when will it be declassified? I will come and explain on your
Sir,
show.
is it
Shergill,
your case?
Let
Mr. Akbar give assurance.
Sir, please.
Mr. Shergill, even declassification of all the files which you're asking for, and all of us are asking for the same thing. After that, after all documents are declassified, that declassification is not going to negate what has been declassified today. What we have in front of us, you could have got away by calling the initial releases as selective leaks. But this is not what happened today. Is not selective leaks.
Okay,
this is comprehensive declassification of 64 files.
But the Congress has today artfully taken the position that they want declassification of the entire record before they will even begin to answer fundamental questions. Is that tenable? Is that a defense? Is that a tenable defense? We leave it to the viewers to decide tonight. They've heard Mr. Shergill stand up for his party. He stated his case. We've heard the Bose family. We've heard the Bharatiya Janata Party. We've heard a historian. We leave it at that. All sides are out there. You make your call.